Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to take a close-up tour of one of nature's most incredible pieces of engineering, the animal skull. And believe me, it's way more than just bone. It's a whole story of evolution and survival, written right there for us to read.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Take a look at these two. Now, believe it or not, they are both dog skulls. On one side, you've got the long, elegant snout of a collie, perfectly designed for speed and sight. And on the other, you have the short, powerful face of a bulldog. I mean, they're the same species, but their skull architecture is just worlds apart.
So you gotta ask, right? How can the same basic blueprint end up with such wildly different results? And what does it all tell us about the animal itself? You see, the skull isn't just a random shape. Every single curve, every ridge, every little hole has a purpose.
To really get a handle on those differences, we first have to talk about what all skulls have in common. There's this universal logic to their design, and it applies to pretty much every animal you can think of.
Think about it. Every single skull out there is doing these four critical jobs. It's a helmet, first and foremost, protecting that all-important brain. It's a scaffold that shapes the face and anchors all those muscles for chewing and expression. It's also like a busy highway interchange, with pathways for nerves and blood. And of course, it's a toolkit, holding the teeth they need to eat and defend themselves.
So how are these incredibly complex structures actually put together? You might think they're just one solid piece of bone, but that's not the case at all. Instead, the skull is more like a super complex, three-dimensional puzzle. This amazing exploded view of a horse skull shows you that it's made of all these different cranial and facial bones, all fitting together with just breathtaking precision.
And the glue that holds all these puzzle pieces together? Well, that's something called sutures. Now, these aren't just simple cracks. They are these highly specialized joints that are unbelievably strong, but they also allow the skull to grow as an animal gets older. Pretty clever design, huh?
And here's a perfect look at what I'm talking about. See those crazy, jagged, sawtooth lines on this pig skull? Those are the sutures. This interlocking pattern is what locks the bones together, giving the whole cranium incredible strength.
All right, this is where things get really interesting. Once you understand that basic blueprint, you can start to see how evolution has customized it for all kinds of different lifestyles, just by comparing the designs.
So let's put three familiar animals in a head-to-head matchup. The differences just jump right out at you. The ox skull is short and wide. It needs to be a powerful base for those horns. The horse's skull is long and kind of rectangular, which is perfect for grazing. And the dog, well, like we've seen, the dog is in a whole other league because of all that variation.
So what does that actually mean? It's all about form following function. For the ox, its frontal bone basically took over and became the entire roof of its cranium. Why? Because it needed a massive, super reinforced platform, that's the corneal process, to anchor its horns for fighting and defense.
But you know, when it comes to skull variety, no animal even comes close to the domestic dog. Because we've bred them for so many different jobs, anatomists have put their skulls into three main buckets based on the shape of their head.
And here they are again, the long-snouted, dolicephalic collie. That skull gives it a great field of vision. The average mesocephalic husky is kind of the all-purpose middle ground. And the short-faced, brachiocephalic bulldog has a skull built to maximize bite force. It's so clear when you see them like this. Their skulls are perfectly shaped for their jobs.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the outside. Now let's peel back a layer and look at what's going on inside. Because really, the skull's most critical job is protecting the cranial vault.
And that space is the cranial cavity. It's this bony vault, and its one and only job is to provide the absolute best protection for the brain, the body's entire command center. But here's a surprise. The skull isn't a completely sealed box. The brain has to communicate with the rest of the body, right? So to make that happen, the skull has about 85 named openings, holes and canals for all the nerves and blood vessels to pass through. It's like the body's wiring.
And the absolute king of all these openings, the main event, is the foramen magnum. That's just Latin for great hole. And it's basically the superhighway at the base of the skull where the spinal cord physically plugs into the brain. It is the most important data connection in the entire body.
All right, you've taken in a lot of theory. The functions, the building blocks, all the variations. So how about we put that new knowledge to the test? Little pop quiz for you.
Okay, let's bring back our friend the pig skull for a moment.
Take a close look at that highlighted seam right there. It separates the frontal bone from the parietal bone. What do we call that specific suture?
If you said the frontoparietal suture, you got it. Awesome. See, the name literally tells you which bones it connects. Nice and logical.
Okay, next question. Let's go back to our 3 types of dog skulls. Which of these categories does a bulldog fit into?
That's the one. It's brachiocephalic. Just remember, brachy means short, and cephalic means head. It's all about that short facial structure. Great job.
So when you look at all this, from an ox's built-in defense platform to a collie's streamlined snout, every single feature tells a story. Each skull is a masterclass in how form follows function, and it kind of makes you look at every animal, including ourselves, and just wonder, what does the architecture of our own skulls say about the story that shaped us?